All right, y'all. So now let's get into this team. Let's talk about Charles Barkley. So apparently, we already talked about it the other day that Jason Collins, who was one of the first NBA players to come out as a homosexual, had passed away from brain cancer at the age of 47. So condolences to the family. Shout out to him and all that he has contributed to the basketball community, the NBA, all that good stuff. So there's also, I believe, with this whole situation, it was a wake-up call for sports fans because hearing Charles Barkley say what he said in regards of like, it's great that Jason Collins did what he did, but the reason, the conversation needs to be had about homophobia in sports. When you look at something like basketball or baseball or football or soccer or football, the other football, or any other sport, and people equate that with masculinity, being manly, or even the UFC or boxing or whatever the case is. Like it's always contributed to being a masculine sport. And what people need to realize is that there are gay men in these sports, in all sports. There are gay athletes. Unfortunately, they can't come out because they fear retribution from the fandom, from the industry. A lot of them get blacklisted where it's like, oh, we don't want to play them. But I'm like, but you was playing this athlete. I don't want to put no names out there, but I'm just saying you just played, and because I don't want to use them as an example, but you just played this person, and they've been good, and we like them. But now because they suck dick backstage or behind the scenes, now you can't see them in the same way. But you was living for them. They was your MVP. They was hitting them 3-pointers. Now all of a sudden you don't like them because they're gay. Like you sound dumb as fuck. And clearly you got issues that you need to deal with yourself instead of hating on this person because they finally found a way that was like, you know what, I don't want to live a lie. I found somebody that I love and I want to not share for the shot it from the rooftops, but I want to be comfortable in my skin and also be that shining role model for those who also love sports that happen to be queer. Not every gay person likes to dress in drag and do the hula, or likes drag or does all the gay male stereotypes that have been plagued on making it easily identifiable for people to be like, okay, that's a gay man. There are gay men who just so happen to love being with men that are same gender loving, but do all the things that will be perceived as hyper masculine or heteronormative. So Charles Barkley I saw this clip over there on Twitter where they were discussing Jason's passing, and Charles basically came out and said, yeah, that we live in a homophobic society, and that's probably what is preventing a lot of queer people from coming out of the closet. So we're gonna play that clip, then we're gonna come back, we're gonna talk. Please hold.
They were just two really good one really good basketball player. His brother is now, he was just an unbelievable, like the guy said, soul and understanding what that moment was. And you say 13 years ago, say, well, what's the big deal if somebody said that they're, openly gay? What's the big deal? Well, 13 years ago was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why it doesn't feel as big now at times is because of people like him. And so, kudos to him.
Yeah, but Kenny, in fairness now, if another guy did it, it would still be a big deal because we live in a homophobic society. And that's unfortunate. That's why, first of all, anybody who think we ain't got a bunch of gay players in all sports, they're just stupid. But there is such animosity toward the gay community. And that's what's really unfortunate. But anybody think him, and I know a couple other soccer players that came out, if you think there are not more gay players in the NFL, Major League Baseball, and the NBA, you're just stupid.
I didn't know Jason very well, but on the occasions where I would see him at certain events, guy was just nice. He was just a gentleman.
Yes.
And a guy firm in his beliefs, and a guy who really, through his words and through his actions, has told us all, you don't have to live in the shadows.
You do not.
And he said,
Yeah, so you don't have to live in the shadows, but unfortunately, a lot of gay men do, because if they do come out, there is a fear of retribution, which is what I've been saying for the longest. And when the other guy at first said that it wouldn't be a big deal if a gay person came out as a basketball player, baseball player, whatever, it would be a big deal because we still live in a society where people are obsessed, especially in America, over homosexuality. You don't see, like, in the comments, especially on a lot of the black blogs, where they make comments about sassy this and this, that, and the other. There was even a whole situation where I think it was Shane Gillis. It was a comedian that there was something that had happened at a recent, I think it was last season with the Knicks, and a comedian made a joke. And when it came to Carl Anthony Towns, he was like, "Hey, girl." And I was like, I know he ain't trying to mess with Cat. First of all, I love me some Cat. Cat is fine as hell. I mean, even though he's engaged to Jordan Woods. Yeah, I found that shit out when I was at the. I didn't even know he was dating her until I was working Celebrity Row, and I was down there, and Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner and Kylie's friend Jordan was down there. I didn't know there was a whole connection with that. And I just saw speaking of Cat, he's in The Devil Wears Prada too during the Hampton sequence. He is in the movie, and so when you're making comments about that, and people have made comments about the way he does his 3-point, like the hand thing, and making like he got a little slight femininity, even though Kat has been someone who is very pro LGBT and a lot of the things that he supports and things of that nature. So there are a lot of pro LGBT people in sports. That we also do a Pride Night, not only for basketball for the Knicks, but we also do it for the Rangers, which Sarah Palin's tired ass boyfriend, who used to be a New York Ranger, decided to go in and make little homophobic comments on social media talking about this is why the Rangers lost, is because they're having Pride Night. I'm like, the Rangers played a shitty season. So what are you talking about? So was every night Pride Night when they kept losing at home? Especially during the beginning of this season, the 2025-26 season. So your reasoning behind it is null and void. You sound dumb as hell. And I agree with Charles. Like, if y'all really think that there are no gay men in basketball or in any sports, you lost your damn mind. You are delusional because we're in everything. Everything that has to do with sports, art, anything creative, and not only that, but any job, gays are everywhere. We like roaches. We don't die, we multiply. So shout out to Charles Barkley. I hope that that we'll get a change and get some openly queer sports people. I mean, look, I would love y'all to do the basketball, what y'all over there doing with hockey with heated rivalry, because this seems like to be a big thing, especially with the conversation surrounding heated rivalry and how a lot of people have been reacting to it and how it's caused this big commotion and all the other stuff, especially with this show. I feel like it should span off into other sports, and who knows? Because I think that it would be a great thing to tackle. So shout out to y'all over there in the sports world, and RIP Jason Collins. But I definitely think that this is a good conversation that we need to just keep up. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with what the men had to say in regard to this whole, gay men in sports? And do you think it's time that we had an openly gay person in sports? I mean, in a perfect world, I would love to see it, but I just don't feel like I don't feel like the world's ready for it. But sometimes you got to make the world ready for something that they feel that they're not ready for, and just realize that yes, queer people exist in sports. If that is a problem for you, then that's a you problem, Jay. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.